Is that distracting you folks? Huh? How gorgeous is that, Jazz, huh? So this here is a spinach that I am allowing to go to seed so I can collect the seed, correct? So I can plant it next year. So, gotta save seed when we can, and that's from an heirloom, folks. So this here, oh, don't mind my garden stuff here, folks. This here is an Elliott blueberry bush that's self-pollinating. My sister gave this to me for my birthday. So I'm real excited. Real excited. I guess I've got to weed a little bit. Looks like some small blueberry seedlings in there. That'll be exciting, right? One spinach over there. Where is it? Over there. And for some reason, I've got 2 beet plants right there. So that's alright. That's alright. I'll take whatever will volunteer to come up from year to year, right? And this right here is what I've been talking about, an edible weed, folks. This right here is purslane. It's grown considerably, and I'll show you another patch where I'm allowing them to take over a bed. Now this right here is a succulent, right? So the leaves are a little bit slimy, but you can eat them and they're very healthy for you. You can saute them, you can eat them raw. But what I do, you see that stem right there? I make pickles out of those. Makes awful good pickles, folks. So this bed here is my green bed. This is basically my salad bed. So as I thin, I eat, right? So I've got some kale there. I've got some kale there. I have some, we've got a lot of rain, heavy rain, folks, so it kind of beat my beets down a little bit, but I've got a row of beets there from seeds that I saved. What year? Last year's seeds. They came up. All the store-bought seeds that I bought while from Baker Creek did not come up, folks, except for that one right there. Well, I guess it's 2. And that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. But look what I have here, folks. Look at that. Huh? You don't want them on your plants. You do not. So what I do is I pick them off and make sure they go bye-bye, right? I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so that has gone bye-bye, but you see what it's doing to my leaves? Look at that. I'll silhouette it. See that? So, not good, folks. Not good. You got to pay attention. You got to go out and check your plants every single day. And look underneath the leaves. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Let me zoom up. Gotta get rid of them. And what I do is pluck that leaf right off. And I squish it. I squish them. Make sure they are gone. But I'll look under every single leaf. And it does take time, folks. It does take time. But if you want a garden, you've definitely got to make sure that you are checking your plants every day and checking under the leaves every single day, right? Because once they get established, it's pretty hard to get rid of. Now I will show you, look at that, there's a mosquito hiding. I will show you what I had to do with my squash. So I'll be right back. So this here is my kabocha squash. And I didn't get out in my garden for an entire day. And then we had a rainy spell. And the cucumber beetles moved right in. Doesn't take long, folks, I'm telling you. It does not take long. So what I did was I put diatomaceous earth on the plants, and think I got them, but look at that, in 2 days, folks, they can just make a pretty plant awful uncosmetic real fast. But I do have some kabocha squash sitting on. Pleased with that. It's got some runners, got a lot of blossoms. We'll see how they do. We'll see how they do. These are in amongst my tongue of fire shell beans, which came in spotty. But there, I replanted in the spots, and most of those came through. It's just going to be a little delayed. That's all in spots. But you want to look under all your plant leaves, folks, for any eggs. And like I said, it doesn't take long for them to take hold. So we got to catch them early. And for those people who like to plant and forget, this is how crops get destroyed, right? Yeah. So people ask why I spend so much time in my garden. Well, this is part of the reason right here. So there's a few blossoms, there's a weed. Pretty hard to keep up with the weeds, folks. Look at that. Water sitting in that blossom. So this is my Swiss chard. Something's gotten at that. I can tell you, it's a little bit of a buggy year, folks. But that'll be, I like my Swiss chard a little bit young, so that's almost ready to harvest. And these are my, well, a small patch of my turnip. Just a few, not many here, maybe a 10-foot row, but I've got to thin them out. But what I like to do is let little turnips get on there, about the size of radishes, and then I will thin, 10 inches apart probably, 6 inches apart, 8, 10, depends on what the plant looks like, and I will cook those turnip greens up. Now here is a third planting of beets, so that's good, they're coming along nicely, and these here will go to actual beets and not the greens. So I started thinning out there. As I thin, I eat the beet greens and I space them about that far apart in order to get nice sized beets. These are cylindrical beets, folks, and they're heirloom from, again, saved seeds from last year. Now if you have potatoes, you need to look for bugs, folks. And mainly what I am looking for are the potato bugs, right? So, and I do have, well, if I can find it, where is my finger? Right there. I do have tortoise beetles here. My sister, if I can get that to focus. My sister identified that for me, and they really don't do any damage, just cosmetic damage. So if I see them and if I'm in the mood, I'll pluck them off. But so these potato plants are about up to my waist, a little bit better. They're looking extremely healthy, folks. I get a lot of compliments on my potatoes, and not bad for growing potatoes in new ground and sawdust, right? Which a lot of people say can't be done. So here is an update on my Napa cabbage. Doing nicely. I've got to thin it out. but that's all right. I can do that and eat my thinins, right? There are the onion seeds that I planted right there. Coming good, coming good. And that right there is a beet and a beet. So, honestly, folks, I just weeded this entire garden. I just finished weeding it just a few days ago. I call this crabgrass. I don't know what it is, folks, but it grows really fast. But make sure you shake off the dirt into your garden. You don't want to take any of the nutrients out of the garden bed. So I'll come back out here. The rain has picked up, folks, and I think I'm gonna go in. There's a little bit of a tour anyway. So these here I've got to get into and thin out, and I will do that today because it's only supposed to rain this morning. That's getting really thick, but I don't believe there's many weeds that are going to grow in there except for vetch. Vetch is a pain in the tuchus. It's just a pain in the tuchus. Now, if you are wondering, folks, why this potato plant is all by its lonesome in this bed here, that is because the Irish in the olden days would take potatoes and plant them in, they would plant them in the dirt in the fall, so when spring came around, they'd have a head start on the potato season. And what they did was mulch around the potatoes, right? Well, the potatoes, over the potato seed that's in the ground. So I did that to this whole bed last fall, and that's the only tomato plant I got, potato plant that I got out of it. So I don't think that method is for me, or I didn't mulch good enough, or that cold spell where we had 25, 30 below, it probably just, the mulch wasn't deep enough to protect it much. So, but I'm curious to see. I don't remember what kind of potato that was. It's probably a Kennebec, probably. Alright, folks, thanks for watching.